Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. It is time to do my June TBR and play my game Flip and Roll, which I'm so excited for. This is one of my favorite videos to film every month. I will be rolling a die 5 times to choose a category, and those are here. If I roll a 1, it's a series. 2 is my recommendations cart. 3 is a NetGalley. 4 is Book of the Month. 5 is Gifted, and 6 is Christian Fiction. Once I know a category, I will then flip a coin. If I get heads, I get to choose a prompt from my lovely prompt jar right here. If I get tails, I get to do a spinner wheel, and that will pick for me, so I have no control. Before we can jump into my rolls for June, I want to tell you about how I did with my May stack from Flip and Roll. So I am pretty pleased with how I did, actually. My first roll was for my recommendations cart, and it was a spinner wheel, and I got Dust Bowl Orphans, and I'm like into this far. But I still have a week left in May, so hopefully this will get completed. Then my second roll was for a NetGalley with flowers on the cover, and I chose Once for Yes by Allie Millington, and I did read that one. Then I got a number 6 Christian Fiction spinner wheel, and it picked Spectres in the Glass House by Jamie Jo Wright, and I did complete that one. Then I had a number 1 for a series, and it was a spinner wheel, and I got the Flavia de Luce series. So I read book 2, The Weed That Strings the Hangman's Bag by Alan Bradley, and I did read that, and I actually decided to DNF this series for now. And then my final roll was another series, but once I picked a prompt, I totally forgot that I was supposed to do a series. So it ended up being just a prompt pick, but I got Our Darkest Night by Jennifer Robson, and I did read that. So 4 of the 5 books I've completed, and I should have this one done before the end of May. That's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. And now on to June's choices. I do have a stack of 5 books that are must reads for the month, and I'm really hopeful that I can get 1 or 2 of them onto this TBR. If not, I will just share them at the end. But let's see what we get. I'm going to go ahead and roll the first roll for the first book. I got a 2, which is my recommendations cart. Let's see if I will be using a spinner wheel or a prompt. Whew, that was a really good flip. It is heads, which is prompt. And I am like notorious for choosing a prompt and then forgetting what category. So I have to pick from my recommendations cart, but it has to fit this prompt as well, which is, let's do this one, which says, ooh, a book you don't hear anyone else talking about. I do read a ton of backlist. Let me see what I can pick, what my options are. So I can see right away this book, The Second Life of Muriel West. I feel like people talked about it when it first came out, and in my comments, people went crazy when I just talked about this one. Oh, you know what? I might do Liar's Bench from Kim Michelle Richardson. I've heard a lot of people talk about her book Woman of Trouble, the book Blue People, Book Woman of Troublesome Creek. Is that the one? But this is an older book by her that I've never heard anyone talk about. I have a ton on here actually that I don't hear people talk about. Let's do The Lights of Sugarberry Cove by Heather Weber. I don't think I've ever seen anyone talking about this one. This feels very summery. I think I might go with this one, actually. I do really want to read Second Life of Muriel West, but I think that's a little bit more popular. And this, I definitely haven't heard anyone talk about. It does have a pretty summery cover as well, but I think this is going to be a little more like serious and heavy. I'm not sure what this is even about, but I just feel like when I picked this one up, I'm like, yeah, that's the one. So we're going to go with The Lights of Sugarberry Cove. So that's on my recommendations card, a book that I don't hear people talking about. This is going to have magical realism, I think. Sadie Way Scott has been avoiding her family and hometown since she nearly drowned in the lake just outside her mother's bed and breakfast. 8 years later, Sadie is the host of a much-loved show about Southern cooking and family, but despite her success, she wonders why she was saved. What was she supposed to do? Her sister, Leela, is still haunted by the guilt she feels over the night her sister almost died, and now at a crossroads in her marriage, Leela has everything she ever thought she wanted, but why is she so unhappy? So it does feel like it might be a little bit sad. More sad than it kind of shows, but when their mother suffers a minor heart attack just before Sugarberry Cove's famous Water Lantern Festival, the 2 sisters come home to run the inn while she recovers. It's the last place either of them wants to be. With a little help from the inn's quirky guests, can the sisters come to terms with their strained relationships, accept the past, and rediscover a little lake magic? Okay, I love that. It does feel like it'll be hard hitting a little bit. A charming novel of family love and the healing power of a little lake magic. Does feel perfect for kind of summery vibes. So that's going to be book 1. Let's go ahead and roll for book 2. I got a 1, which is a series book. I love that. Am I going to be picking myself with the prompt or relying on a spinner wheel? Ooh, that was a horrible toss. It's Tails, which is a spinner. So we are going to pull up my series spinner. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these a couple times. I do only have 27 listed here. I feel like I have more than 27 series on my spreadsheet, so I might have to double check this at some other point besides right now. But let's go ahead and spin and see what we get. Okay, yes. I'm excited about this. This is going to be a humorous book. Let me go ahead and get this one. Here's the series. It's so adorable. I've already read the first 2, Miss Spunkle's book and Miss Spunkle Married. So I'm going to go ahead and go on with the 2 Mrs. Abbotts. And then I just have 1 more left. I'm really excited. This is not a very long book and it's going to be funny and heartwarming. D.E. Stevenson is the author of this series. Kind of classic. It says, nothing goes unnoticed in the small town of Wandlebury. Wandlebury. Charming, witty, and delightful. I'm so excited. So this is going to be book 2. So far, so good. Let's roll for book number 3. Another 2. Sweet. Recommendations card again, which I'm not sad about because I have plenty of choices on here. Let's see if this time is going to be a spinner or prompts. Ooh, bad. I like caught it in my fingers. Let me do that again. Ooh, that even made a little noise like Alexa. Tails. So we're going to do a spinner for my recommendations card. Sweet. I'm not sad about that. I do have a couple in my pile that I have to read this month that are on my recommendations card. I would not be sad about it picking one of those, but I have no control. So we shall see what happens. So these are alphabetical because I just went through and took out a few that I had read and just saved it and updated it. But let me shuffle it a couple of times. There are 105 options on here. That's a lot. Let's go ahead and spin, see what we get. Oh, sweet, a mystery. Okay, I'm gonna grab it. I am loving that so far all of these have been on the shorter side. So we have At Bertram's Hotel by Agatha Christie. I know nothing about this one. I know it's Miss Marple. Let's see. Old-fashioned London hotel is not quite as reputable as it makes it out to be. When Miss Marple comes up from the country for a holiday in London, she finds what she's looking for at Bertram's Hotel: traditional decor, impeccable service, and an unmistakable atmosphere of danger behind the highly polished veneer. Yet, not even Miss Marple can foresee the violent chain of events set in motion when an eccentric guest makes his way to the airport on the wrong day. I'm excited for a mystery. I'm excited for another Miss Marple. I think I've only read The Body in the Library, which is a Miss Marple one. I think that's the only other one with her as the detective. So I'm excited to read At Bertram's Hotel. Should be a good one. All right. So that was another recommendations card. Let's roll for number 4 and see what we get. A 6. So that's Christian fiction. That's amazing. I have 2 Christian fiction on my must-read shelf. Let's see if I can get one of those on the pile. We'll see. Ooh, good flip. We are using Tails, which is a random number. Well, it's a spinner wheel, but I don't have a spinner wheel for Christian fiction. So we're going to do a random number generator. So I already know 2 of them. One of them is Brave by Misu Andrews. You've seen this before. This is one of my 5-star predictions that I would like to read. It's a story of King David's brides, and it's book 1 in a series. This one is about Ahinoam. So I would like to read this one. I also have For a Lifetime by Gabriel Meyer. It's book 3 in a series, and this is my patron pick for this month. So it's going to get read regardless. Both of these are going to get read regardless. So I would love if we could get one of them picked. And then I have 3 others here. So I have A Single Light by Tosca Lee. This is the sequel to The Line Between, which is about a woman who escapes from a cult. It's a thrillery book, Christian fiction. I really enjoy Tosca Lee, so I'm going to add that to the pile. I also would really love to read The Fifth Avenue Story Society. I think this was in my stack last month as well. This is by Rachel Hauck. It's one that was recommended to me this year. It's very bookish, and I think it's about a group of people who comes together, and I don't know if they join a book club or something. Quirky characters. We get to learn about each of their lives and how they intersect and help each other out. And then for my final choice, I'm going to do a reread, which is Black by Ted Dekker. I used to always say that Ted Dekker was my favorite author, him and Francine Rivers, back in the day. But I don't think I've read a Ted Dekker book in over a decade. So I would like to revisit this series, in particular because someone recommended to me The 49th Mystic by him. And that is kind of beyond the circle, I think it's called. And this is the Circle series. There are 4 books, black, white, red, and green. I want to revisit Black, the first one in that series, see if it's a book that I still really love and that I want to continue. So we're going to say 1, let's just stack them up here. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, for a lifetime is in there. I'll stick it out. And 5. Okay, if I hold them this way, it might be easier. We're going to do this, and I'm going to let Alexa choose for me. So Alexa, choose a number between 1 and 5. Nothing. Crickets. Alexa, choose a number between 1 and 5.
Here's a number between 1 and 5. It's 5.
5. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is the way that I went. Brave, which is brave. Sweet. So that's one of my 5-star predictions. I was definitely planning on reading it in June anyways. I'm really excited to try Misu Andrews. I've heard a lot about her from other booktubers, and I've never tried one. So I'm excited. I love biblical fiction, and I'm just eager to read it. I'm hopeful that it'll be 5 stars. So that is going on the stack. These 3 are going back on the shelf. This is going back in my pile. Let's roll for number 5. This is my final roll. What are we going to get? A 1. And that is series again, which I'm not sad about. I want to be making progress in series this year. So let's do it. I don't know if we're going to do, have these all been random so far? No, I got to choose the first one. Three spinners though. All right, let's see. Woo. It is, what is it? Heads. Prompt. Yes. So I'm going to remember this time that I need to pick a book in a series that matches this prompt. Okay, let's see. I'm going down to this. Shake it off. This one. Shake it off. This says a book that includes geometric shapes in the title or cover. Okay, I could do this one because, oh no, it doesn't say circle on it. The later books, the other editions, do say the Circle series. That one doesn't, so I can't use that. Oh man, I'm going to have to look. I will be right back. Okay, I have a couple options, and I really don't know what I'm going to do. So I did find the Marlowe Murder Club, which has squares all over it. This, however, would start a new series, and so I'm kind of leaning towards maybe not that one. Then I also have Starsight, which if we imagine, like that is a circle, you can't see the whole thing, but it's clearly a circle. I don't know if I might be pushing it. And then I also found the Book Smugglers. There's a lot of things on this cover. There's like a star, that's a geometric shape. And then these little designs, where did it go? These little designs here have a lot of triangles in it. And that's on there multiple times. I feel like all 3 of these are kind of pushing it, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one because I don't have any other middle grade on my radar, and I really would love to finish the series. So this is book 4, I believe, in the Pages & Co. series by Anna James. I think this one is going to follow Milo even more than Tilly, but Milo has been in the other books. Look at this end papers. So cute. Regular book cover, but really cool end papers. I really enjoy this series where Milo and Tilly can have their book Wanderers. They have the ability to go into stories. So I'm not sure what this one's going to be about, but I feel like it's going to have a little bit of a mystery. There's a lion. Is that going to be Narnia type of stuff? Oh, no, lion. This is going to be Wizard of Oz because there's a scarecrow and a lion and a tin man. So that's fun. It's going to have Wizard of Oz as the main story, I think, that they go into. I'm excited. So that will be my 5th pick. So here are my 5 picks for Flip and Roll. I had a recommendations cart. The prompt I don't hear a lot about. I had a series spinner wheel, and I picked the Miss Bunkle series. So this is book 3. I had another recommendations cart spinner wheel, and I got at Bertram's Hotel. I had a Christian fiction spinner or randomizer. I got Brave by Misu Andrews. And then I had this is a series, another book in a series. This prompt was geometric shapes on the cover. So that's my 5 books that I will be reading for my Flip and Roll TBR. I have 4 others that did not make it onto the pile. So my Patreon book club book and pick this month, our book club book is going to be The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I'm really excited. This is about kids who go missing at a camp, and I am going up to New York at the end of June, staying at my mom's cottage for a couple days at the camp there. And so this will be perfect to read at the end of month, since I do try to read my Patreon book towards the end of the month when it's close to when we have the discussion. So I will be reading this in New York at my mom's camp, God of the Woods. So excited to read that. I've heard so many good things about it. And then my Patreon pick for the month you've already heard is For a Lifetime, the 3rd book in the Timeless series by Gabrielle Myers. I'm really excited to read that. I have it on hold at the library already, so that should be coming in soon. And then I do have 2 others. With Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, I'm going to be reading The Ember in the Ashes and Ember in the Ashes. We've invited you all to join along. This is a series by Sabaa Tahir. I have read this one. It's a reread for me. There are 4 books in this series, and we will be reading one a month leading up to series September and finishing the series in September. We will have sprints and a live discussion at the end of the month to talk about this book. So if you're interested in a YA fantasy, join me. We follow Leia and what's his name? Elias. Both, one of them is a rebel, one of them's in the military school. In the rebel Leia, she goes undercover and becomes a part of the school as well, and their stories intertwine. So excited to revisit that. And then also my 3rd 5-star prediction book, which I would like to have finished before July 7th, is Theo of Golden by Alan Levy. I've talked about this book so many times and I still haven't read it. I can't believe it. This old guy visits a coffee shop where there are 92 framed pencil portraits on display, and he sets out on a mission of purchasing all the portraits one at a time and quietly bestowing them on their rightful owners, whatever that means. I know I've heard from so many of you who loved it that it's going to be heartwarming, and I love an older protagonist. I know I'm going to love it. So that is the end of my TBR. I'm also going to be participating in the Amazing Readathon in the month of June. And you're like, Krista, don't you have prompts you have to specifically follow for that? Yes, but I don't, because I am one of the hosts of the Pathfinder team, which is just there for the vibes. We don't have to do the prompts if we don't want to. We don't have to do them in order if we want to do them, but we don't want to do them in order. We don't have to follow the rules exactly. We will not be submitting for points. We are just there to participate and have fun. Mood read. This is great for people who don't read a ton, generally, who maybe read 2 or 3 books a month instead of 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 15 or 20. Pathfinder's team is perfect because if you read just 1, you're good. So there's no pressure, no vibes, so there's no pressure, no requirements to read anything, but we can participate if we want to in the prompts. So I will be talking about that in another video, but here are the books that I will be reading in the month of June. Holy moly. I'm excited. It's going to be a great month of reading. There's a lot of variety in here. Some straight mystery, some humorous classics, some YA fantasy, some literary mystery, middle grade. I have a lot of variety, which I love having that in my TBR. I would love to chat with you down in the comments below. What do you think about any of my picks? What are you most excited to read in the month of June? I love chatting with you down there about anything bookish or anything else you want to talk about. And if you don't have anything to share today, go ahead and put a geometric shape in the comments, because that was such a unique prompt that I got. So go ahead and put a geometric shape in the comments if you just want to let me know that you were here, but you don't really have anything to say. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.